What are you doing here? There are 40 seconds remaining. You have not picked a bomb yet. A bomb is probably a long, just like enemy. You know what? You know what? I see picking a bomb is not your main strength, but I can show you how to pick something else up. How about you pick up a new career in tech, and I will show you how to do it. So let's get started, comrade, on this journey together. So comrade, you have to adjust first the goal. You need to know where you're heading. You cannot be just slacking. You cannot be just lying around thinking, oh, you know, I'll use the JavaScript and do some JavaScript. That's not how it works, okay? We must define a clear pathway, a clear way where we are heading to, you know? We need to know our end destination, even though end destination might change, you know? You go first to first train station, then next train station, you know, what comes afterwards, you decide for yourself. But we need to have a clear path. So there are 4 pathways that you can go and traverse in the web development realm. There are possibly more, but I think those are the main ones that a lot of people are interested in, and also not only people, but also like companies are interested in. So why not we get started and talk a little bit about that. So the first one is front-end web development. What is front-end web development? Simply said, everything you do on the website, from interacting with the UI, designing UI, you know, when the customer is interacting, but you do it the UI, when you do this very nice transition from one page to the other, this is your domain. This is where you are the captain of the ship now, okay? This is where you have, you know, setting the course to a new destination. You controlling everything. You getting the data, you displaying the data, you doing the big magic, and this is your task. The next thing is backend development. You are not doing anything front-end related, obviously. You're doing more with servers, databases, security, authentication, sending here, sending data there, querying stuff. You are the master of data. Those sweet data is your domain. So this is the backend development. Full stack development is basically a combination of front and backend. You do front end, you like the UI, you do very nice designs, but you also want to be the ruler of the backend. You want to be in full control. You want to create the startup yourself. This is your destiny. You're destined to do everything yourself. Well, it's very nice, but bear with me, comrade, it is very hard being a full stack developer, but it is still a viable chance and a viable option. I might gonna do a video explaining in detail what full stack development, what risks are involved, pros and cons, but for now, know that full stack development is also a good option. So next up is DevOps, and DevOps is really fun. Actually, it's really a lot of things you have to keep in mind, because you are basically on the Overwatch. You're not, you're not playing a Soldier 76, no, you are basically making sure that whatever programmers, the back end, the front end, are merging together in the continuous integration, continuous development pipeline, you put it together in a coherent package, you deploy it, you make sure that everything's secure. You are the master when it comes to deploying it to the real world. You making sure that it is working, and you are basically the guy in the orchestra, you know, the one with the sticky stick, you know, and this is basically you without the movement. But you, okay? You understand. We need to make sure that you understand the basics. If you start with web development, JavaScript is your tool. JavaScript makes sure that you will understand the web. JavaScript is a great tool that you should use, but you should not do the mistake and just think like, oh, you know, I come from different language, or oh, I just started now, JavaScript is gonna be easy. No, you should do the basics, and the basics are really important. If you have the basics, you don't have to know advanced concept. You can, with the basics alone, understand everything. Luckily, we have a really well-designed roadmap already prepared for us. And now you ask, comrade, why do I need a roadmap? Why is roadmap so important in my case? Well, comrade, first and foremost, you didn't pick that bomb a side long, okay? You wasted a lot of time. Your roadmap, what to do in this round, has a lot of question marks. How about we not do the same mistake here, okay? Web development, very important. You should not waste any time. That's why a roadmap comes really in handy. This roadmap has yellow blocks, and you're gonna follow each block sequentially. And each block is having other blocks that depend on them, like the outer ones. And those with the purple tick mark, basically are also very important for you to learn. That's basically the foundational blocks of the main blocks that you have to learn. You know, the other ones, not the yellow, I'm kind of like the other ones, okay? And you're gonna follow them and gonna learn them. And please, comrade, you need to understand that you cannot skip the yellow blocks. You can maybe skip the other blocks, the outside blocks, you know, maybe skip a 1 or 2 and say, I'm gonna keep maybe do something later, but the yellow ones, it's important that you learn them because they are building on top of each other. Once you lose the fundamentals of those yellow blocks, you may not understand the other topics, so you have to follow along. The same roadmap can also be found for backend developers. And backend developers, it's exactly the same. You learn the JavaScript basic, you look at this roadmap, you follow this roadmap, the yellow blocks, and learn everything, and then you should be good. Full stack is also kind of the same. You also have not technically a roadmap, but when you want to go the full stack route, you have to know everything, comrade. You have to know full front end, you have to know back end, you have to know both, and you have to combine them. So this is a very, very, very hard roadmap. I would not recommend you doing this roadmap in the beginning. You either go front end or back end, but you do not start with full stack. Very bad. A lot of things can happen there, and I would definitely not recommend you starting with full stack. Please start with either front end or back end. So the last one is DevOps, and DevOps exactly the same. You just follow those yellow building blocks, and once you understand them, you are a very, very suited DevOps engineer. For me, it was always kind of like very nice when I followed the front end basically the front end roadmap. I always envisioned the building blocks like my enemies in Most Wanted, you know, the blacklist. Once I had defeated one, I checked him off my list, and I was very good at that. So this is how you basically conquer this roadmap, and when you conquer it, you're gonna be feeling very powerful, very strong, and very assured of yourself, comrade. Okay, comrade, learning materials are very important, but you should also understand that you can fall into a common pit trap that a lot of beginners are falling into. And this is tutorial hell. I would really advise you to follow to this one rule and to this one rule only. You only learn the best when you do it yourself, even if you learn and watch a tutorial. You watch a tutorial, then you do the copy, but you will not do the remembering of what steps you do. You're following instructions, you don't follow your own instructions. If you create something, you might not know, oh, how do I do that? I need to go back to tutorial. So what I recommend to you is, if you watch tutorial, please watch, understand the concepts behind it. This is the most important thing. Don't just copy and paste everything one by one. No, no, no. Learn the concepts. This is the important thing. Learn concepts. This is the rule. Do it yourself, learn concepts. This is the one unified rule. Well, I do the little bit exception there, but you understand. But when it comes to resources, it's also important to find the really good resources that help you out during the journey. They don't slow you down. Some YouTubers that I personally like, that I would recommend to you, are the following. Comrade Jack Herrington, very nice man, knows a lot about React, the front-end framework React, so he is more in the front-end realm. He knows a lot about state management React here. He knows this stuff. Next up is Comrade Ben Awad. Ben knows everything about front and back end. He is like the hybrid mutant that Soviet Russia created back in the day and sent off to America so he could run all the startups in the world. He's very powerful, so you have to, you know, fasten the seat belt because his speed is something else. Comrade Hussein Nasser knows everything about the backend. He is the man if you have questions about backend. He'll show you exactly what real-world problems occur once in a while, and then he follows up with a great explanation. So really, if you want about going to the backend route, he's a very good resource to keep in mind. Comrade Kyle from Dev Simplified, very nice man, very technologic. He knows his stuff, he knows his craft, and he is very suitable man to talk about this topic like front-end development, also a little bit back-end development. He knows it, he comes and explains it really quickly and really simple, really great tutor. Another great channel that I would recommend to you is Fireship. This YouTube channel basically has one of the most stunning visuals when it comes to explaining stuff. The person behind the videos is talking about front-end, back-end, about everything technologically, what can occur in the web development space. So really great channel, you should definitely check it out. The last and probably the most important channel is Free Code Camp. this channel has so much resources that you do not have. And I repeat, comrade, I repeat, you do not have to pay a single dollar for any tutorial whatsoever outside if you have this YouTube channel. This YouTube channel can teach you everything. Of course, if you want the extended basically explanation of something, go ahead, buy the tutorials, buy the courses, you're free to do whatever you like. But this YouTube channel is doing everything, every topic what you can imagine. There is a lot of value in this, and I would highly recommend you checking the videos out. One of the things that both front, back and DevOps and full stack everybody has to do is GitHub and understanding how GitHub works. This is a great website that I recommend to you that you can use in order to interactively understand all the Git commands and really get down to basics and really get understanding of Git. So really check it out. The next material that you should definitely check out is exotism.org. This language, no, it's not the language where a little girl turns head and starts doing the unholy, demonic, unchristian things. No. This website basically teaches you a lot about languages. You will really get into the nitty-gritty parts of languages. You will understand how certain concepts work, and this is a really great website to master the skills of the languages that you learn. Because comrade, one thing that you should never do is learning languages left and right. You know, you're not here the Mad Titan himself collecting all the infinity stones. No, you're not that. You know, it's better to have some languages that you're the master of instead of 20 languages that you know the basics. It will not get you really far, okay? You have to know the really advanced stuff in order to call yourself master of a language, and it will take you not weeks but months to really understand the language that you're using. So please learn the languages that you are using, and then if you master the language, advance to the next one. The last piece of material is a really special one. I personally like this website a lot. It's called Code Wars, and in there you solve coding challenges by basically using any language you like. So if you love JavaScript, you can use JavaScript to solve complicated questions, and you can rank up and gain like a level, you know, in order to show off how good you are of a problem solver. And I think this is a very unique and very important skill that every developer should pick up. This will basically elevate your thinking, and this will only contribute positively to your overall progress as a developer. So really encourage you to do that if you have the time. Well, comrade, the last thing is the most important thing of this video. You can of course have all the roadmaps, have all the resources that you might have, but if you not execute appropriately, if you do not put in the work, if you do not stay consistent, and this is the most important thing. Consistency is really the one thing that separates a good programmer from an average programmer. An average programmer will only do the task that he needs to do and then call it a quit and then go doing something else, which is nothing bad. You know, we all have lives, we all have different things to do. But if you really want to become a great programmer, a one that people look up to, that people ask questions, you have to be consistent. You do not have to do 8 hours a day. You can also do 2 hours or 1 hour a day, and this is already good enough because you're already doing more than the most of the people. You can have all the learning material that you might have, all the roadmaps. It doesn't matter if you do not follow a strict plan and execute accordingly. You need to follow and do the work every day. You need to put in work every day in order to become the best version of yourself. If you're heading this developer route, if you want to become developer, then you really need to do the work. And I'm not gonna say like, oh, you need to hustle, grind, blah, blah. No, not of that. In a couple of months or a year, you'll be like, great that I put in the work. You know, the compounding effect, you know, you put in and does better and more, and you will be a different person after a year, comrade. I promise you that. So put in a little bit of work every day and you're gonna become a very great developer. So after you watch this video, you uncovered a lot of mysteries, but still there's one mystery out there. Why am I here? Why I'm in this position? Well, you ask you good questions, comrade, but the answer is simple. I like to get flashed.